on Sunday, man? I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by Lee Goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little clear. But we're joined by Pat
It looks
Donovan.
like Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little...
No, my camera's broke.
That never gets old. That never gets old to me. Maybe to some. Actually, to some, probably very much so. But nonetheless, speaking of never getting old, the great Michael Pless of Real Bucs Talk is in the house. Sorry for running late. First and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, that is my bad. When traffic calls, you got to answer, I guess. You can't really do anything about it. So stuck in traffic, but we're here, ready to roll. Real Bucs Talk, Buccaneers here with the great Michael Pless. Zach Johnson, Bucs by 30, should be joining us as well. Maybe the schedule delay threw him off a little bit. But without further ado, we're going to bring in one of the smartest football brains around and a great film man himself, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Michael Pless of Real Bucs Talk. And plus, I know it's like a kid on Christmas Eve for the both of us. We got the NFL draft tomorrow. I can't believe those words are rolling off the tongue. NFL draft tomorrow. It seems like we just took Graham Barton 1 year ago to date. And here we are looking at 6 new Buccaneers and, of course, the undrafted cats as well, joining the team in the very near future. So, plus, how the hell you doing? I'm sure you're excited, but I'm sure you're exhausted at the same time as you guys keep putting in the work. My friend, how's everything?
Yeah, everything's good. Just busy overall. I'm excited to have the next 2 days off from work, so that's good. And make sure all the prep is completed for a couple of live streams that we have going on at Real Bucs Talk, and then I'll be over on the Loose Cannons for Saturday, so that should be a lot of fun.
That will be a great time. Every day, great draft coverage. I remember when you guys used to go somewhere for the NFL draft. Plus, wasn't that right? Real Bucs Talk would go off location a little bit, and you guys used to have a special like that.
Yeah, so like the last couple years, I've been me and my good friend. We go to it's called Palm Island, but it's basically what is it called? Don Pedro, I think, is the island out there by I forget the town that is nearby, but it's south. It's just a south like private island, and you get like a Verbo out there, and it's a lot of fun. Just kind of peaceful, kind of deserted and away from everyone, and can really just hone in and focus. So
that's what you need sometimes. Sometimes during the draft or stuff of importance, it's like, all right, let me just disconnect from the world a little bit. I need my attention on these prospects. That's my favorite time to watch film as well, is right after you draft a cat, and then you break down some of their college tape. And you see, I remember drafting Cansey and seeing him drop back and cover some of his college tape that night. I was like, this kid's incredible, special, athletic, but nonetheless going to be a great, a little less than an hour or so, but a great time talking to Michael tonight, and we got a lot in store. And another great guy co-hosting tonight as well is J-Lo's out. Happy birthday, by the way, J-Lo. So he's out and about on his birthday. I'm going to send him a Venmo request shortly. I'm not paying him. I'm requesting him for him missing time, so we'll discuss that off air. But happy birthday, J-Lo. We got the great Zach Johnson in co-hosting tonight, the great Bucs by 30, the man, the myth, the legend himself. Zach, Plus and I were talking. We are excited for the draft. Plus has a plethora of coverage coming up. It's just going to be a great time, my friend, the next 3 days. How the heck you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here and pick Pless's brain on all of his draft knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. We got the brainiac in the room, so always good when you got one of the best draft guys to have on the show. King Buck starting off strong with Will Johnson to the Bucks at 19. Jenna Lane said that the Bucks aren't worried about his injuries or his speed either. Could seriously be in play at 19. Before we get Plus and Zach's opinion, and we're going to get Zach and Plus mock drafts as well, all 6 picks for the Bucks tonight. We're going to be going over in depth and detail. So, first and foremost, let me say this: love all the Bucks reporters, Jenna Lane, great lady, all these people, great people. But it's smokescreen season. We have to remember a lot of things are going to be said that are true, a lot of things are going to be said that are not true, and a lot of things are going to be left unsaid of what people really think. So now, today I looked at 8 different mock drafts. Peter Schrager, Evan Winter, Ari Morov, my sports update. More and more and more and more. I think all 8 had the Bucks taking somebody different. I have people on Twitter saying, the floor is a ceiling for Jihad Campbell to the Bucks. I have people saying Jihad Campbell might fall to round 2 or 3 because of his injury concerns. You have Shador Sanders all of a sudden. His over-under in Vegas getting drafted as 21st and a half overall. He was all but surely to be guaranteed a top 5 pick just a couple short weeks back. So who the heck knows what's true? I will say Jenna Lane, a good reporter. She works for ESPN. So I'm glad someone has faith in what she's saying. But Plus, what say you about Will Johnson being in play potentially at 19 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Yeah, I mean he's one of the better corners in this class. Unfortunate with the injuries that he's dealing with. Obviously, last season dealt with turf toe, I believe, and then he also had the hamstring injury. So he didn't really show any testing. I know he did a 40-yard dash, I believe, at his pro day. It was around 4.58, 4.6. So again, not the best. But when you watch tape, I mean, he's an ideal cover 3, cover 4 corner, plays a lot of zone, really good ball instincts, ability to click and close. The tackling is kind of suspect. So you kind of wary on that aspect, and hopefully that can get coached up. But overall, I think he's a very good player in this class, especially, it's a weaker class overall. And I think the Bucks taking Will Johnson at 19, I mean, wouldn't have any issues with it. But I think, like you said earlier, all these reports and like so many different prospects getting mocked to the Bucks. I mean, I think a lot of these teams, they want to trade down. The problem is no one wants to trade up really. So I think that's where the Bucks are. And I think they're going to, see what happens. Hopefully the best player, becomes available that they like the most, and that's who they'll go with.
Yeah, so again, just to get it straight real quickly after Plus's great analysis, we got another tweet to the Buccaneers saying, and cover your ears, Plus, but we got the Dr. LFG. I'm putting out a post saying formally the artist known as Doctor. It's now just Plus. So ladies and gentlemen, remember
Plus
that our great brother of ours is Plus, or football guy. I like football guy. No, but shout out Barstool for that. But no, I agree on Will John. I mean, I wouldn't mind it, but then see, everybody has different opinions. Realtor Dave Zeusman saying he hates the idea of going with the cornerback in round 1. So Zach, what say you on the idea of going with the cornerback on round 1? You saw Plus make the case for a guy like Will Johnson, so we're going to give you this comment, I should say, about going with the key cornerback in round 1.
Honestly, I don't know that there's a position on defense that if we took would be a bad pick, right? We need depth at several places. So I don't. I have a draft crush. Will Johnson's not it. Not because he's not a good player. I'd like to see us put that capital somewhere else in the first round. Johnson also. I think Barron would be a better maybe possible pick just because he has a little bit more position flexibility and could make more of an impact. Also, anytime you say cornerback and hamstring in the same sentence, I get a little sweaty. So, but I wouldn't hate the pick. Honestly, there's probably 5 or 6 guys that we could take that I would be completely fine with in the first.
And we're gonna get within minutes. We're gonna go over who we would all take in the first round. I might beat mine up a little bit because we started our mock draft a couple weeks ago, and I had Jihad Campbell. Will I keep him there? We will see. So we'll see. But Zach, I think you're 100% right. I think this is one of those rare drafts where you can draft 5 or 6 positions defensively. Even I wouldn't be a biggest fan, but I could see them sneaking in a wide receiver again. I wouldn't love that, but it is what it is. I trust our front office. Holy crap, we have Ray Charles here himself with the Baker hat on. It's getting scary. The
Kobe.
birthday boy has cracked a cold one. His chain is out. He said he was off today. I'm interested to see what version we get of J-Lo here shortly, but Godfather's in the house. Christopher Cole's in the house. Olive's in the house. Richard's in the house. Happy draft week, everyone. Happy draft week to you, my friend J-Lo, the birthday boy. Without further ado, take it away, my friend. I think you turned 18 today, right?
I wish. I turned a bit 3-5, man.
Nice.
And the lightning fell me last night, so I went to Kobe, had a nice little hibachi, and I'm a happy camper. How y'all fellas doing tonight?
Good. We're literally in the middle of talking some draft. Plus just gave his input on Will Johnson. Zach gave his input on taking a corner in round 1. So we're going to give you Barron. What's your take on Barron to replace Jamel Dean next year when he turns 30? If the Bucs took Barron, J-Lo, how would you be feeling about that round 1 pick? I do have our mocks, but we're going to redo them a little bit tonight anyways. So but thoughts on Barron if we took him to replace Jamel Dean down the road?
I wouldn't knock it at all. And I think you would see the field right away. They'd probably use him as maybe a nickel, maybe put him at safety. I mean, both will get creative. He'll figure out how to use them. I wouldn't knock it. But if Rosaraku was on the board, I would take him over him. But if that was the only choice, I wouldn't knock it at all. And Dean, I mean, can he play a full season? That's the real question. If he can stay healthy and stay on the field to where we won't have to rush the rookie in, but we have to, we will. But I wouldn't knock it. I'd be all for it.
Plus, what say you on this one from Cleve and me? How the hell you doing, Cleve and me? Welcome into the program per usual. They're asking your thoughts on Warren or Loveland. If you're the Indianapolis Colts, you would take blank at tight end if you had the opportunity at both. I think Warren's probably gone. Loveland might be gone as well, but just say both are there. If you're the Colts, who would you take?
Yeah, I think it's a good scenario to be in, like a good situation. Tyler Warren, I think, is maybe a better fit for what the Colts want to do offensively, but Colson Loveland, I think, has the higher upside as far as just offensive weapon. Like, you can use him in so many different ways. We did a film study on him, and he was a lot of fun to watch, just his ability to space the field out and give you that red zone option. And, Tyler Warren can do those things as well. But I think just Colston's just a little bit more athletic, where he can give you maybe a little bit more oomph as far as positional flexibility. Tyler Warren, I think, again, can still do all the things you want as far as a wide tight end, kind of inline, do a little bit more blocking, and kind of just seems like a better fit for what the Colts want to do, which is run the football, have that, that option in the short and intermediate routes. And, definitely you can't go wrong with either one of them. They're both probably going to be top 15 picks when it's all said and done.
Yeah, it's interesting to see if one will last to the Colts. I doubt it, but they might trade up. You never know. They could take a tight end in round 2. Zach, we're going to give your thoughts and opinion on this. Bucs should trade for Jamison Williams and use that pick for wide receiver on tight ends to challenge Cade Otton and camp for Grizzard. What say you?
Well, I don't know if we're going to be trading draft capital for a wide receiver. But in this scenario, maybe I do. We need somebody to stretch the field. If we were going to get a wide receiver, I just don't think there's a rational scenario where Jason's going to send draft capital to a team for another player. I think he would rather draft his own guy.
Plus thoughts before we bring in Katz, a surprise guest. Katz, always good to see Katz, but popping hour, J-Lo making it on his birthday, Katz putting in the work. We're just like the Brady Bunch over here. But plus thoughts on Jamison Williams. I personally don't want to trade for him, if I'm being completely honest, because I don't want to give up draft capital. Nothing against him as a player, but you're going to have to give up draft capital if you do, try and acquire him. So, and I don't think we need to pick a tight end to quote unquote challenge K. Dotton. To me, if you're picking a tight end, you're not doing it to challenge K. Dotton. You're doing it to replace him when he becomes a free agent next year. So I think the word challenge might be a bit of a stretch here. But plus, what say you on that?
Yeah, I doubt they trade for Jameson Williams. I don't think Detroit wants to trade him either, unless they're going to get something outrageous like a first round pick or something that will blow them away. So yeah, I don't see that being an option. I think the Bucs, if they want to add a receiver, they'll just draft one at some point, in this draft, or sign a free agent later.
Again, a lot of great takes. Dave Zussman says Ezaraku would be top priority. A lot of people say that. Edge at 19 says Steven. Bucs are going to draft Walter Nolan. If none of the 4 guys are there, trade down. Book it, says the great CC Christopher Cole. Revel won't be there in the second round. Happy birthday, J-Lo, says the Godfather. There you go, J-Lo. A little bit of a birthday shout out, brother.
Absolutely, I'll take it. But I like Walter Nolan too. That's a good another option. Why not add another D tackle? Because last couple seasons we had to start the season without Kalijah Kancey, or being able to that back. He started the first game his rookie year, then he was out for a while. So why not add more firepower to that D line? The more the merrier. I'm all for that too.
Yeah, you better watch that dog on your birthday, brother. They might get a barking over there and give you a little 1-2. Cats, J-Lo's with the dogs. Are you with the birds, bro? Looking beautiful wherever you are, my friend. Florida, I'm assuming, but you never know with the gray cats. How you doing, Cats?
I'm doing okay. Yeah, I'm here in St. Pete, and yes, it is quite nice out today.
Looking like a beautiful day. NFL draft tomorrow. Are you ready, sir?
Yes, I've been ready because listening to a bunch of smoke screens and hearsay and this and that for weeks is so exhausting. The draft should be earlier because it is exhausting. So yes, I'm ready.
Yeah, a lot of smoke screens and coach speak. Here to say Plus gets a shout out now on his birthday. Happy birthday. Logan Hall. Happy belated to that. So, we had our pod on Friday. It was Good Friday. Was our last show this past Friday. And we had a question. Which Buck is your Easter egg? Who will you find under the couch? Who will have a good year in 2025? And we had a couple say Logan Hall is their Easter egg. So Plus, I think you'd be happy with that if he were. He took a mini step last year. You think a realistic step could be in store for Logan Hall this year?
You just want to see consistency improve. I'm just hoping, ideally, he would be used as a rotational piece where you could just bring him in for pass rush situations. But against the run, I thought he made some strides, but there's a long way to go there, where he just needs to be better as far as holding his ground and maintaining his spot in the the gaps, and then also pass rushing better.
Yeah, I agree with that. Nice hat, J-Lo. J-Lo, you're getting a lot of love on your birthday, at least, bud. So there you go. Full squad like the Brady Bunch. I guess, I guess you could tell that's my lady. Is she saying the exact same thing I did, Olivia? There you go. I'll hit the copyright infringements on you later, but that's all good. Just kidding. The key to make the draft amazing is picking a great edge in first round and trading up second round is Shakir Revel or a good cornerback. We'll see how that happens. I won't be mad if they get Nolan. Supply and demand in all caps. Baron Hairston or Revel. That's that. So you guys heard it here first. Supply and demand ain't gonna be happy if no Nolan. See the thing, and we'll go over this here shortly, but Washington, you see them do this last year. They drafted the kid from U of I in the first round, the D lineman, because they had 2 older D linemen. Jonathan Allen eventually gets let go. They saved some cap space, and they had a young D lineman to plug and play a couple years later. Not saying that's going to happen with Vita Vea, but the nice thing about taking a guy like Nolan in the first, you would have that flexibility and capability then to shift on and play some cap gymnastics down the road with some D linemen if you really, really had to. Again, I don't think you could go wrong round one. Plus, what say you about Nolan and D tackle? We know Jason Light loves his big men too. I mean, first pick, he made Logan Hall a couple of years back, the Bucs' first pick, second round pick. Kalijah Cansey, obviously. So, kind of a common theme here.
Yeah, I would be surprised if Walter Nolan's available. I think he's
Agreed.
going to go top 15. He's really talented. He's got a lot of upside, a lot of traits to, value at that spot. Him and Derek Harmon. Harmon's another one that's been underrated in my opinion. So I would expect Nolan could go as high, as 8 to Carolina, could go to San Francisco at 11. So there's it would be interesting. I don't know if the Bucs are in on him just because of what character concerns have been thrown around on his name. But defensive line, I think, is definitely always a good way to go. I know they really like Darius Alexander out of Toledo, older prospect. But yeah, I mean, Nolan should be gone by then if it's my guess.
Yeah, Kayvon trades, I'm assuming Thibodeau rumors. I don't really buy it. I don't see it happening. Plus, I see you shaking your head. We'll go around the table quick. What say you?
Plus, yeah, I say no. I don't think we're making those trades.
I don't think so. Zach, we'll give you this one. Mike Green won't be on our board with the allegations. Dark horse pick James Pierce Jr. Zach, how would you feel about James Pierce Jr.?
I wouldn't hate it. He's not my top guy at edge, but I wouldn't hate it. I mean, he gets to the quarterback really well. He's probably not going to start because of Reddick and Yaya, so he'd be in on third downs anyway, on passing downs, and that's kind of what he's made his money on is getting to the quarterback. So I wouldn't hate it, but it's just going to depend on what's on the board at that time.
I agree with you. I hope we trade back twice and out of the first rounds and have multiple seconds, says Sean. That would be something if you trade back not once but twice. This one's awesome. Trade Devin White and Dean. So there you go. I think that maybe we could sign Devin White and then trade him. I think that would be a lot of fun if we were able to pull that off. No, and he probably means Rashad White. So just kidding there. J-Lo, what say you? No, the Bengals aren't going to trade Dean for Hendrickson. I don't think that's going to happen. I would love to play Madden and love for that to happen, but I don't think so. J-Lo, what say you on Easy at 19 and Ben Morrison out of Notre Dame at 53? I don't know if Morrison will last that long, but J-Lo, I'd be okay with that scenario from Chico.
Nah, I'm all for that, man. That's a chubby right there. That's a good comment.
Oh, gee, keep your hands where we can see him.
But long story short, Morrison probably will be gone by the time with our pick in the second round. But now there'll be plenty of other corners they can take besides Morrison in the second or third round. I wouldn't be too upset if we didn't get Morrison for that part. Let's see. I want to read this one.
Pooh Paul. I know Pooh Paul's a big favorite.
I love that guy. That guy's a beast. I think Mr. Plus turned me on to that one. Mr. Paul. So,
you're talking about chubbies. You're talking about turn-ons. This is getting a little out of hand for me. But here we are with the draft tomorrow, so I could put up with that language for today. Katz, would you break your TV if we don't draft Malachi wait, I'm breaking my TV if we draft. Would you break your TV, Katz, if we drafted Malachi Starks in the first round, just like Supply and Demand says he would?
No, Malachi Starks, I've heard lots of good things about him. So I wouldn't have an issue with that. I mean, it depends, I guess, if there's other players on the board that I'd prefer, but no, I wouldn't have an issue with, and like I say, he's my top choice, but I wouldn't have an issue with Starks.
Yeah, I know you like the other safety kid as well, and I've been hearing his name a couple of mocks as well. So, like I said, this is probably the craziest outcomes I've ever seen in terms of you never know who the Bucs. Actually, the Kalijah Cansey year, there were a lot of different possibilities for the Bucs and mocks as well. This could be one of those years. Like, Cansey was not talked about at all to the Bucs, and then they go and get him round one. This could be another one of those years where you you see Goodell go up there and he might say first pick for the Bucs, pick number 19 is Tampa Tones. I'm telling you, I'm staying stretched out. I'm nimble. I'm lumber. I'm ready to go out there. It might be Cats. It might be Plus. Who the hell knows who the pick might be? But Alexander getting some love from Toledo. Allegations don't mean that it's true. These young men are targets. Regardless, it sucks, and I hate to say this, and you're right, Troy. Not 100% right, but sometimes the men and women are targets. False accusations go on, but it sucks. But right, wrong, or indifferent, man, it does even if it's alleged. It's sad, but it does tarnish your reputation. As sad as that is, so we've seen a lot of athletes be alleged to do. Look at Trevor Bauer in baseball, right? That guy still can't get a job. And all of that stuff came out as alleged. So, as much as it sucks, right, wrong, or indifferent, sometimes it's a reputation ruiner, for better or for worse. So hopefully he doesn't fall victim to that. But if he does, that's unfortunate. Oops, Rashad White. Sorry, guys. Long day. Hey, it's okay. No need to apologize here. Easy. That's pretty much a consensus first round favorite by a lot of the fans I'm seeing. So speaking of first round, we're going to start our Bucs mocks, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go around, do a little round table. Zach plus J-Lo, Cats, if you want to join in.
Guys, I hate to cut out. I gotta run. So apologies for making it so short.
Hey, brother Cats, you enjoy the draft tomorrow. God bless you, brother. We always appreciate having you on, my friend.
Thank you. I'll take care. Go Bucks.
Go Lightning. Hey, yeah. Lightning will come back, right?
They will bounce back. Absolutely.
Thanks, Cats. Take care, brother.
Yep.
The Rays will keep sucking. So,
yeah. Hey, the only light hope for the Rays, that Chandler Simpson kid's going to be fun. But, you don't watch baseball for fun prospects in April or May. That's something you do in September, maybe not April. But hey, we'll see. The Rays just can't hit. It's okay. They never sign a bat. So
they should never traded Randy Rosarena. It should have been Diaz. Move along.
Yeah, it should have been J-Lo. You're a jinx. You went to the Lightning game last night, and the last Rays game you went to was a blowout. It's like, can't catch a break with you, my friend.
You don't have to worry about it. I'm not going no more games. That's it. I'm done. I'm bad luck.
Hey, here we go. You got a nice little super chat, it looks like, from Mopar Buck Plus. We're going to start with you. We're going to break in since it is a super chat, and we're going to let them get ahead of our mock draft here. So, great question, but why would we draft Starks and possibly have $75 million in safety contracts in the future, alluding to Antoine Winfield's big money as well, Plus?
I think with Malachi Starks, I mean, again, he's kind of similar in the aspect of Brian Branch. Maybe not the superior athlete that Brian Branch is, but he can do multiple things. He can play safety, mainly free safety is where I see him, and then he can play nickel. And I think also they like him potentially at outside corner. So that, when you look at those aspects and how you project him at the next level, that's a player that you want on your team. Defensive secondary, obviously the intangibles are through the roof. Very smart and intelligent football player when it comes to film study. So he would be a natural fit, especially if certain guys that they maybe have higher on the board are not available. Let's say Ezraku goes earlier than suspected, then obviously that could be a very good fallback option for them.
And plus, after watching the Bucs last year, I don't think you could convince me there's any quote unquote appropriate dollar amount for the safety room. I mean, my Lord, nothing against Jordan Whitehead and some of those guys who gave it their all back.
It didn't work out. Yeah.
It just didn't work out. And then you've seen Whitehead make a dumb mistake late in the season and cost us some key depth in the secondary. So, Zach, what say you? I mean, maybe we go elsewhere, maybe we don't, but at the end of the day, if you're paying two safeties good money, at least you got a hell of a secondary.
Well, you also got to think, you take them in the first round, you got 5 years of a rookie deal because you can pick up that 5th-year option, and by then you're probably not paying Winfield that kind of money in another 5 years. So I think when you start looking at draft picks by what you're going to be paying them eventually down the road, you're looking at the wrong traits, right? We need somebody that we can put into the lineup that's going to make an impact on the field. So if Starks is the guy, then that's the guy. Position flexibility is going to be the number one thing to help somebody get on the field this year, because we've got starters pretty much at every position already.
Right.
So if somebody is able to play more than one position, they're going to have a better chance to make an impact early on.
Couldn't agree more. J-Lo, take it home. 30 seconds or less to wrap up the great question from our guy, Mopar Buck.
No, thank you for the super chat, first of all. But I will say I do agree with Zach. I mean, it's a rookie deal. It's not going to cost much to have him. And why not have more firepower in that safety room with two studs and Winfield Jr. and Starks, or vice versa, whatever you want to rotate him with when it comes to the other one that's transitioning to safety, Techie Smith. But it wouldn't fit that all. I mean, like I said, it's not like he's going to get paid right away. He's got to earn his contract like everybody else.
Heard Tampa could go Maxwell Hairston at 19 while he was on Evan Winter's mock in round 1. Without further ado, not doctor, damn it. Hey, producer, you're fired. We'll talk after the show, okay? Sorry about that. Without further ado, Michael Pless. And, these don't have to be necessarily what we've heard rumored or anything of that such. These could just be who you might want. It doesn't have to be necessarily linked to the Bucs by any mean either. But I know a guy like Plus does a lot of research and knowledge, so we're going to start with our leadoff hitter right here. Plus, without further ado, round 1 tomorrow comes. What do the Bucs do? And if they stay put, even if they trade, who might their pick be?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Donovan Ezeraku out of Boston College. I think when you look at him and what he can bring to the defensive line, and just all the talk about Coach Bowles and then Jason Light also speaking about getting home with 4, and getting back to pass rush and getting after the quarterback with just 4, blitzing less, putting less stress on your secondary as well, and giving them opportunities to make more plays, whether that's interceptions or just finding ways to get the ball back to your offense. So, in a perfect world, if no one was hurt and no one had pre-draft injuries, I would love Jihad Campbell, because I think that is our biggest issue on defense as it stands right now, which is linebacker. And I know a lot of things are not everyone wants to take a linebacker round 1 because of the risk involved and how much they usually don't work out in the first round. But I think Jihad Campbell's a top 15 talent in this draft, given how the class, stacks up. But getting Ezeraku, I think from a character standpoint, what he brings onto the field and ability to learn from Hassan Reddick, I think it just makes a lot of sense from that aspect. And Jason Light loves taking trench players, so I think that would make the most sense.
I agree. I love the trench. Jason Light loves the trenches. You build through trench. Trench depth is the best depth as well. So you can never have too many depth pieces. Couple cool Richard, you think most teams in the back half of the first round? I mean, I feel like teams in the back half of the first round are a lot of them try and trade back, while teams in the front half of round 2 try and trade up. I feel like that's a common theme every year. We saw Baltimore sneak back into round 1 a couple years ago, take Lamar Jackson with the last pick of the first round. We've seen the Bucs at one point trade back up and get Doug Martin in the back end of round 1. So when a team really has their guy and they like their guy, they're going to try and go up in round 1 and get him, because they won't between round 1 day 1 and round 2 day 2, there's a 24-hour period where it gives GMs, NFL teams, opportunities, thoughts, and whatnot to make trades, and a team could easily go up and grab that second pick. We see that, or the first pick of day 2. We see that very often. So if a team likes a guy enough, they're going to go up and get him in round 1 in the back half. So it might not even be teams looking to trade out of round 1 as much as it is looking for teams to try and trade back into round 1 to get their guy. Big Watson out of Florida, well, he visited, so you never know. Never say never. Could you imagine that brick wall? Vita Vea, Watson, and Logan Hall.
He's going undrafted. So
Yeah,
I mean,
big
if
boy.
they want to add him, they can sign him as an undrafted, but he won't get drafted.
He's just a big specimen, man. And I mean, I think teams are doing their due diligence and research because the football potential is there, and we'll keep it at that. Mr. Zach Johnson, Bucs by 30. You guys are tuned in to Real Bucs Talk and Buccaneers, by the way, simulcasting on YouTube. You could also catch us on X or Twitter, whatever the hell you call it. Facebook. We're streaming at Bucs Life LLC right now, and you can catch a replay on Apple, Spotify, or more. Whether you're watching on Real Bucs Talk channel or my channel, hit that like and subscribe button, please. Whoo, I'm out of breath. But Zach, Bucs by 30, give us your first round pick, brother.
Dream scenarios as a Raku, man. I think he's going to be somebody that can come in. You know, Todd likes to do those line shifts, and he takes out, you know, the whole starting four and puts in the backup squad. So Braswell and Ezaraku sounds a lot better to me than, you know, some of the guys we had on the field last year trying to generate pressure. And the Pless's point, being able to get pressure with four is going to make the coverage on the back end look a lot better. So, you know, that's the pick, I think, is edge, because even if Reddick works out and he gets, you know, double-digit sacks, he's going to want to get paid big time, right? Or if he doesn't work out, it's only a one-year deal, and now we're going to need an edge again next year if we don't go that route. So I think it's the best value pick for us in the first round. It's and hopefully the way we go. But
you could never have too many edge rushers, that's for sure. Especially after last year, some of those games, it's like, who the hell's running after the QB? Even nobody. JTS is still running the wrong way, I think. But no, I'm kidding. He was getting to the QB. He could just never finish. You know, he was able to get to spots, just not complete the plays. It'll be interesting to see JTS lined up across from Myles Garrett in Cleveland, see if that helps him. If I was Cleveland, I'd go Abdul Carter. It doesn't sound like they're going to do that, but could you imagine Abdul Carter and Myles Garrett lined up out there together? That would be ridiculous. That would be crazy. J-Lo, what say you? We got two easies round one, not easy, so do your research, but we got easy going round one to Zach and Plus. What say you? Are you joining the easy fan club?
Well, I remember the one mock we talked about. I was saying Malachi starts, but now I'm leaning more toward Donovan Razaraku. If he falls, which if it comes out between him and starts at that 19th pit, they're going to go to Razaraku. So I'm with the fellows that just said Donovan Razaraku. You got to get pressure. You can't keep blitzing. If you watch the Philadelphia Chiefs Super Bowl game, Philadelphia, you know, their front got after Mahomes and then had to blitz one time or for most of the game. So I think you got to go Donovan Razaraku. That's the hype right now, and I'm going with him.
So everybody is all over easy, and you know,
Yeah,
we're not
yeah.
talking.
I'll add something, Tones. I would just say, like, the Bucs, ideally, I think they want to trade back. You know, they want to get more picks. I think that will be an option. And also, we have to keep an eye on the hype for Maxwell Hairston, because they do want to play more press coverage. And you bring him in, he's kind of got that inside, outside versatility, can play outside corner for you and then move him inside on third downs. You bring Jamel Dean back on the outside, and just gives you a little bit more versatility and flexibility of what they want to do in the secondary. So definitely keep an eye on him. I think when you look at it, Ezaraku, Hairston, Matthew Golden, even the receiver, I think could be in play. Malachi Starks. So those are just a few names to keep eyes on.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. It's interesting because everybody seemed to have this thing almost figured out with Jihad Campbell, and then it seems like the wheels are maybe falling off a little bit on that train. I got a question. Are you wearing a Cub? Yep. Cubs. Christopher Cole, what an awesome Cubs game last night. Mopar says easy would be fire.
Appreciate the super chats, Mopar. He's got another one down there.
Let's see. Oh, yep, I see it now. There we go. Yep. Walter Nolan would be instant impact also, plus.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I just don't think he's going to be available. I think he can go easily in the top 15 of this draft, just because, you know, defensive line is a position where other teams are looking at. They're trying to get that interior pressure. And he makes a lot of sense. He's a disruptor. him and Derek Harmon, and then you have Mason Graham as well, who could be falling just because he doesn't have the traits as these other guys do. Nolan's got the long arms, he's got the size, speed, so he's got the complete package.
I just don't think he'll be there, Walter Nolan, right? I think he's going to be a guy who the Bucs would love to get if he does fall, but I just don't see it happening. I mean, he's an athletic big boy. He could go after and get it, and he's the perfect type of piece for this Bucs defense. 6'4", hovering around 300 pounds. He would do a lot of good up the middle. I just don't see him falling. J-Lo, what say you?
No, I agree with Pless. I mean, I just don't think he's going to fall to us, and I know we're not going to trade up for him. If he happens to land to us, then I would say, depending on Razaraku, if they're in the same group, I still feel like they're going to go with Razaraku over Nolan, but that's just me. But I would be all for it if he did fall and we get him. It just makes our D-line much more scarier putting him with Vita Vea and Kalijah Kancey. So, by all means, and thank you for another super chat, man. He's been awesome tonight.
Yeah, that's awesome. We do appreciate that. Mopar. Oh, I'm all up on the clock. I guess it's my turn. Again, I did have Jihad Campbell round 1. Will I stick with him or will I not? That was a couple weeks back. I would love to go Azaraku as well because, you three made such great cases for him right off the bat. And I'll go different.
Jihad's not a bad pick. It's just, you just don't know if he's going to be ready to start the season. That's the thing. So you just have to worry about that.
And
anytime the agent puts out a "my player's not hurt" video, you got to think about that.
Exactly. That's one of those things that they could be feeding. Pops text into the show. What do they think of Jalen Walker, edge out of Georgia? My first round pick. Plus, I know you gave your thoughts earlier, so just briefly, if you want to resurface those.
Who is that on?
On Walker from Georgia.
Jalen Walker.
Yep.
Yeah. Jalen Walker. I have him as an edge rusher. I don't think he's going to get past Carolina, so we'll have to play against him. So that'll be fun. But yeah, I see him as kind of a hybrid edge. Could develop into a linebacker, but I see him more as a player that you just want to keep moving forward, and not have him drop back into coverage. But yeah, that will be interesting to see how that works out for the Panthers.
Yeah, I agree there. I'll go with Hairston in round 1. Maxwell Hairston we've been talking about, and that's assuming that we might trade back. And I think if we trade back, he's a very realistic option as well. As I don't think it'll be too big of a threat. Although I think Rondé Barber's UCLA linebacker is intriguing as well.
Right.
That's
Westinger. Yeah,
and that's a name, that hasn't been tied a lot until Rondé, and Rock Riley seemed to give his stamp of approval on it too. So you just never know. A bunch of people are thinking different things out there, but I like Hairston because it fits the bill, fits a mold of a Todd Bowles type player. Again, I saw something on Twitter earlier, and I love a lot of Bucs Twitter and reporters, but I've seen a tweet along the lines of Bucs might not take this because they got a young player here, a young player here. Well, in theory, you could do that literally every single position on the roster, right? You could say they won't take tight end because of Cole Panat, and no running back because of Bucky Irvin, no wide receiver McMillan, no quarterback Baker, and the list goes on and on and on. So that's where I think Hairston fits in. Where there's smoke, there's fire usually. I remember hearing Graham Barton's name emerge late last year in mock draft processes for the Bucs, and it ended up being Graham Barton. Zach is shaking his head. He wishes, you got to love Frazier. I think he'd look good in Tampa as well, but ultimately went Graham. I'm going to go Hairston because you're ultimately hearing his name fly up, and it is a position of need, and he's versatile. And I think
the Bucs nickel.
Yeah, he could play inside or outside. Also, Savone Ravel, I think, is another name to watch out for. And again, those two guys, I think they're putting those names out there because they're trying to see if they can trade back potentially. That's what I'm feeling. I don't know that for fact, but I think if they do trade back, those would be some names to look at.
Yeah, Servachier is going to be bad this year. I don't know. I think he's good. That's an interesting way to spell Servachier, but I think he's a good linebacker. It's just he can't stay on the field, right? I mean, the glimpses we have seen of Dennis, he's a pretty effective linebacker number 2, co-captaining, Levante. But all right, guys, round 2, we're on. Round 2. Plus, the second round is up. Bucks stay put, or where they going in round 2? Say you.
Yeah, I'll just keep sticking, stick and pick. But for round 2, I think since I took Ezraku first round, I think this is where they look at corner, linebacker could be on the table. So I will go with Benjamin Morrison because I think he could be there at 53. And I love his game. Again, the problem is does the medical check out because he's coming off of 2 hip surgeries. So you worry about that. If the medical is good and it's not going to be a long-term issue, then I would love Morrison because he's everything they want as far as a corner.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm familiar with him as Notre Dame is, loved by my father and brothers, so I'm used to watching them, and I think he would be a great pick. If you were walking away with Yeezy and Morrison as your top 2 picks,
Yeah,
no complaints out of
good start.
you. Literally, probably one of the best starts you could ask for. And I know the draft's always a coin flip, so you could tell 4 to 5 years down the road. But just off paper, that'd be incredible. Zach, are you going to tail plus and go with Benjamin Morrison, or are you going elsewhere in round 2?
Well, I really expected Pless to go Chris Paul Jr., so I had a different pick in mind because I didn't want to piggyback off of his pick again. But I think if we see the Bucks move down, it's going to be here in the second round. Jason likes to get those picks, and he likes to have a pick in every round. So I could see them moving down some here to recoup that 6th-round pick possibly, but not having a scenario laid out. I'll just second round. It's either Chris Paul Jr. or Norman Lott is who I look at in the second round. Cansey's had that issue where he can't play the first 4 games for whatever reason. I don't know if he doesn't get his permission slip filled out or what, but we've had a little bit of issues there. And, I don't know that any of us are rooting for Greg Gaines to be on the field other than, in spot service, right? I mean, he's good at what he does, but we don't want him out there, starting a game. So I think Norman Lott gives us the ability to have, to absorb an injury on the interior of the defensive line, but our depth at linebacker is pretty bad too. But I do think there's a guy in the 3rd round that we could probably get at linebacker. There's some guys in the later rounds that might be developmental talents as well. So just to break my mold here, I think I would go Norman Lott in the second.
We'll go Norman Lott for Zach right there. I would like that pick. I think that's hard to be upset the apple cart with that pick. Real quick, Richard, when did you guys get monetized? We're not that fancy schmancy yet. That's real Bucks talk behalf as he is leading the way as well. So we got another one, speaking of super chats. Darian Porter also, or Nolan Williams in round 3 and get a wide receiver with the second pick. We could get Bassa later. Plus, thoughts on that one? Another great super chat from our guy, Mopar Buck.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I think you have a lot of options when you get into day 2. When you get into the second round, third round, pretty much rounds 2 through 4, all these guys are going to be on the same level. There's not a big, discrepancy between the talent. It's really going to be a preference pick on where you want to go. So if it's Darian Porter or Noel Williams later, yeah, that's all great. You could definitely see offensive pick here, especially if they're feeling concerned about Chris Godwin's recovery. Could easily go receiver here in round 2. Maybe a Jaden Higgins, maybe a Jalen Noel, someone like that they could target.
Yeah, what say you, J-Lo, on this take?
No, I gotta say, I mean, you can't go wrong with those other 2 players. No Williams, Boss, I heard, got a lot of hype over the last couple of months. He can go in the 3rd or 4th round, depending on who takes him. I mean, those are good traits. I mean, no Williams I like a lot. He's an interception machine, and that's where we're lacking at, not getting turnovers. And I believe Todd Bowles made it clear at the combine that he wanted some guys who can catch and take away the ball. So no Williams I feel will fit really well, and we could get him in the third round. We have to take him in the second. Focus.
Who is your second round pick? Speaking
Oh,
of
my
second
bad.
No. I didn't ask yet. I was just saying while we're on, you might as well sprinkle it in there.
So I'm gonna go with D tackle Darius Alexander from Toledo.
Nice.
Add another D tackle. You put a monster in there with the other two, big guys in there. You want to get pressure. That's where we lacked that last year. We couldn't get pressure on the quarterback. He had all day. We got picked apart on defense. Now you got your edge to rotate, and now you got another D tackle to rotate in there to get pressure on third down, get after the quarterback, and get the ball back to the offense, get the defense off the field.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot. I'm going to go with an edge that we haven't really heard talked about much or tied much to the Bucs at all at this point, but I could see him being an interesting pick because, again, I had Harrison going round one, so I didn't have that round one edge. Landon Jackson out of Arkansas intrigues me. I'm not sure if he's quite the type of guy that Jason Light and co are looking for, but he's a they drafted Yaya Diaby, who had a lot of time in college. Landon Jackson had a lot of time in college as well. And he played in the SEC. So that's always a good thing as well. He went to Arkansas, where you face a lot of good offenses, let's be honest. You're playing some of the best in the biz with the SEC, especially O-linemen too. You see a lot of good O-linemen come from all over that. So he started at LSU, and then he went to Arkansas. His last two seasons had 6.5 sacks apiece at Arkansas. Before that, wasn't the best of sack production. But, I could see it. Jason Light seems to love him some SEC type of defenders. So let's slap a bad boy label on Landon Jackson in round 2 and make him a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. Moving on to round 3. Plus, so far you have Donovan Ezraku, Benjamin Morrison. Is offense going to continue to get shut out in round 3?
Yeah, I'm going to go defense again. I'm going to go actually back to the secondary. I'm going to go with safety Andrew Makuba out of Texas. I like his game. I think the Bucs would really like to have a free safety option where they can play a little bit more single high, and you can bring Winfield down into the box and do a little, just be more versatile. And Makuba, yes, smaller in stature, but ball hawk, knows how to come down, knows how to hit, physical, and just overall good player.
I like that pick a lot. We'll see. I like that one. No Pooh Paul.
Well, I mean, I got a couple eyes on other linebackers that are day 3 options.
I like that. We'll wait and see. We'll play the.
I don't know if they like Chris Paul. I'm hoping they do. I'm hoping they're just kind of keeping him under the radar. But there's possibilities where he could fall into day 3. It's not out of the question.
Yeah, and that's why a guy like Carson Schweisinger, like we seen Rondé Barber say to the Bucs, I could see him falling to round 2 and the Bucs taking him round. I could see a lot of different things kind of shaking up. Fire the damn cannons! Go Bucs! Go Bucs! Go Bucs! And it just depends. Like draft boards and pre-draft rankings are so hard to analyze because everybody has different ones in terms of the war room. So a lot of the rumors and fluff we might be hearing right now might be different by the time the lay of the land concretes. Zach, are you going with Makuba? Are you going with Pooh Paul? Where are you headed?
Well, at this point, no, I'm not going to go with either one of those two. I would just like to say Schlesinger is a redhead, I believe. So
wow, instant draft stock risen.
Right, and we know Jason's light affinity for that. So just keep an eye on that. And but my third round pick would be Kobe Bryant out of Kansas.
Yeah.
He's just got a dog mentality, man. He's got that fire that you want back there. He's a ball hawk. He wants to hit people, and how can you not love that? So corner depth is something that we don't have a ton of, and we know there's going to be guys that miss games, so we need some depth there. So Kobe is my third round pick.
And the name itself is worthy of drafting. Kobe Bryant, can't go wrong with that. Rest in peace to the Mamba. Spelt a little differently, but that's okay. J-Lo, Makuba, Bryant, what say you? As Chico says, great first two picks. And Josh says Higgins over Noel. But where are you heading, Mr. J-Lo?
So I'm going to stay on defense. I'm going to go corner, but I'm going to go with Noel Williams from California. Might be a little bit of a reach because he could fall to the fourth, but I don't think Light's going to take a chance and wait on that. The guy had 7 interceptions last season. 7. That right there tells me that's a guy I want, either a nickel, who I believe he can play a bit of nickel. They try. But now put him on the outside. Dean goes down. I want a guy who's going to catch the ball and take it to the house. So, because I believe he had the pit sits or 2 as well to go with those 7 interceptions. But Noel Williams is a good corner. I think he'd be worth taking the 3rd round, and I think he'll see play time right away. If he stays healthy, that's the biggest thing. Can they stay off the injury list? But that's my 3rd round pick. Give me Noel Williams.
Yeah, some sad news. The legendary Steve Mongo McMichael has moved to hospice, looking like he's on his last breath. He was a great wrestler, entertainer, great legendary Chicago Bear as well. So that's some sad stuff there. I met Mongo McMichael. He is a great guy. Very nice guy. So just stinks. Unfortunate stuff there. And I don't know if anyone else has thoughts on Mongo McMichael, but man, the chat room is lively. Good intel, fellas. Mopar says we appreciate that. We'll see if we get anything else brewing up here, but the chat is lively. It's very strong tonight. So just to recap, so far we have Bryant, Makuba, and Williams taken in round 3 for the Bucs. This is an interesting spot for the Bucs to me. I don't know. It's tough to say who's going to be there, and the team needs a lot on defense, right? I mean, again, I think we've been saying it for a lot during the draft, but I think you could, make the case for a lot of different positions getting taken on defense for the Bucs. But I'm going to rarely go with an offensive guy here. Not sure if he'll make it to this point, but I'm going to go with wide receiver Alec A.O. Maynor. I know the Bucs met with him. You have some guys taking the Bucs with the wide receiver in round 1. I think if A.O. Maynor makes his way into round 3, the Bucs would be licking their chops at that draft selection. And, they're very interested in him. I know that for sure. So that will be, and I am getting word Mongo is passed. He's not even in hospice anymore. He is officially gone. So that's very, very sad stuff. That's why you got to appreciate life, how you have it. A lot of Makuba love. Dave Zussman is a fan. EJ Bowser says Walker. Mopar says Kaiser or Bossa later for sure. But plus, and remember, we only have 6 picks this year. We do have 1 pick down. We don't have our traditional 7. It was in the draft, or not draft. It was in a trade last year where we ended up losing a pick. So plus, we're on the 4th pick for the Bucs, round 4. Yeah. Where do you see this team going?
Yeah, this one's tough for me. I think, defensive tackle, I think could be a play here. I really like Jamari Caldwell. I like some of these other guys. Ty Robinson, I think, could be in play. CJ West, but he probably goes in day 2. Let me look at I'm trying to pull up some names here.
I know it's hard off the fly when you're not really doing simulator or anything, but
right. I think I'm actually going to go with one of my favorites on offense as well. I'm going to go wide receiver. I'm going to go Ty Felton out of Maryland. I just like his game. I think bring an explosive option to the Bucs. Over 6 foot tall, good speed, and kind of fits what they want to do as far as being that Z receiver. Has some inside versatility. So I'm going to go with Ty Felton out of Maryland.
I like that pick a lot. And Rakim Jarrett was a Maryland wide receiver. Maybe they like their wide receivers from Maryland. That's a good pick, though. Plus, I like that one. And I do think Bucks will take one offensive position, and I do think it will be a wide receiver along the way. So, bringing in Opeta, bringing in Heck, and a couple other Klein should take the next step up this year. I don't think necessarily offensive line's a position in need. You can maybe take a UDFA for one of those. Zach, 4th pick, round 4. What say you, my friend?
Well, I don't know if he'll be here, but I would go Bassa out of Oregon here. Give us some depth at linebacker. And he doesn't have to step in right away, because if Dennis is healthy and David, and then you got, I can't remember the guy's name we just signed from Miami. Is it Walker?
Anthony Walker.
Yeah. Levante's real big on Walker, so he'll probably see a lot of playing time. So this gives Bassa, almost like a red shirt to learn from those guys and make an impact on special teams as well. So that's my pick.
Yeah, I'm shocked no one's went kicker or punter yet. That's something to be had right there in the mind of a Jason Light. No, I think he's moving on from taking kickers and punters. That's for sure. J-Lo, we got Bassa. We got Felton. Who you going with and for?
So I'm finally going to go linebacker, and I'm going to go with Smell Mondin, linebacker out of Georgia. He's another guy like Bassa who can redshirt, sit back and learn from the vets. And our linebacking core is a lot better from last year, if you want to ask me, because you got Anton Walker, right? Anthony Walker or Anton Walker?
Anthony Walker, yep.
Thank you for correcting me. Anthony Walker. And then you got Deion Jones, who finished pretty strong, stepping in as well. So I'm comfortable with the linebacker core we have now than we did last year. And if Savasi didn't stay healthy, then I think we got a good group of linebackers. Then you got Mondin, who will learn the system. And I love me some Georgia defenders, man. You can't go wrong with that. Kirby Smart's very good at developing these defensive men, transition to the NFL, either a linebacker, corner, safety, edge, wherever you want to put them at. So that's why I'm going with that man right there.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot as well. So to me, that's a good one. I don't. It's hard to pick this late, but I think we're getting some good ones. So it leaves it on me. I'm going to go with a defensive tackle here. I know some might say, well, D tackle, do you really need it? Blah, 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 blah. There's a name that was intriguing to me. He was in the transfer portal, and last year he ended up in the Big Ten at Indiana. And I like this kid. I'm going to go with big CJ West, the big man. He started in Maction at Kent State, actually, and they certainly could have used him last year. Their defense looked all kind of muddled over there at Kent State, but sure enough, went to Indiana, and look at the success he helped Indiana have. They ended up making the playoffs out of nowhere. I know a lot of that was coaching as well, but he had 2 sacks and really good tackle production there, did CJ West. So I'm going to go ahead and take defensive tackle CJ West with my fourth round pick in the 4th pick for this Bucs team in the 2025 NFL draft. We have 3 rounds left, 2 picks left. Plus, what say you for the Bucs in round 5? So far you have him going Azaraku, Morrison, Makuba, and Felton, the wide receiver from Maryland. Some projected top guys left around the spot just based on a mock simulator draft are Anthony Belton, the offensive tackle, Jamari Caldwell, the defensive tackle, RJ Harvey, the running back, Dylan Gabriel, Devin Neal, Seth McLaughlin, Elijah Roberts, Jalen Rivers, Craig Woodson, Cody Simon, Antoine Powell-Ryland. The list goes on and on and on. So, plus, what say you? Round 5 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, I'm going to go with another corner that I like, and that's Quincy Riley out of Louisville.
I like that one
I think
a lot.
I took somebody's pick there by the reaction, but yeah, I was going to go him. I was looking at potentially Justin Wally out of Minnesota. He's another one that's kind of getting late buzz here as far as a day 3 corner. But yeah, I'll go with Quincy Riley. I really like his game. Again, he's a true slot. He can play nickel, give you some outside versatility in a pinch, but just super ball hawk and can make plays. Physical corner as well.
I like that pick a lot. I was a big Riley guy. I think somebody else was too. We'll get to that in a second. J-Lo, I'm sorry. Who was your fourth pick again? I forgot to write it down, brother.
It's okay. Shamel Mondin, linebacker out of Georgia.
All right, cool. That's what I thought. Sorry about that. All right, Zach, picking up where we left off, round 5, pick 5.
Yeah, it's Quincy Riley. I just think he's the perfect fit there at nickel. Again, he's going to make some impact on special teams as well. Probably, these 5th round guys have, got to earn their living on special teams to make impact plays. Sometimes to get on the field, and also something to remember is if we don't make a move, we don't have a 6th round pick. So if they take somebody here that they really like and it feels like a reach, it's going to be because they don't have the ability to pick them in the 6th. So, Bucs fans and Bucs Twitter needs to remember that when that 5th round pick comes in, don't start live tweeting and say something you're going to regret. But Quincy Riley, Yaya's been kind of pounding the table for this kid as well. He wants another Louisville guy on the team. I just think everything that Pless said is the reasoning that's my pick. Physical, ball hawk, and again, we need that corner. We need that depth in the cornerback room. So.
Yeah, and we also seen previously that picking 2 Pittsburgh guys worked out pretty good with Cansey and Dennis. So there is that. J-Lo, what say you? Are you going to follow the Quincy Riley train?
No, not this one. I'm actually gonna go offense for my first offensive player in the mock. I'm gonna go with Nick Nash, wide receiver at San Jose State. He may not make it there, because we'll see. But that's my pick right there. I think the Bucs finally had a receiver in there to compete, with the likes of Trey Palmer, some of the other guys in the receiver room. I like what he brings to the table, and I think he'll be a steal at that if he falls that far in the draft.
Yeah, and don't take this the wrong way, folks listening out there, but I watched a lot of San Jose State football last year, for better, for worse, for some Vegas and, some money here and there. But Nash has all the potential and tools in the world. This kid's attributes are incredible. My biggest concern when I watch him live, he drops a lot of the easy ones. He'll get open a lot of the time. He'll make it look easy, and then he'll be dropping easy passes right over the middle that should be certified. He reminds me a little bit of a Brashad Perriman for that reason. Not saying I would stay completely away from him. And, that would be good late round value, as he was a statistical beast last year. If he could somehow work on making those easy nabs and catches, he would be very much benefited in the pros. So like Zach said, the great Bucs by 30, also joined by Pless and J-Lo, the birthday boy. We're without a 6th round pick. So we're going to fast forward all the way to round 7. And we've seen in years past, round 7 isn't one that's a shoe-in to make the Bucs roster. Andre Anthony was an edge in round 7. He ended up getting the boot. Raymond Calais, running back, in round 7. He eventually got showing the door. So round 7 is no guarantee to make the Bucs roster. But without a 6th round pick this year, I like their chances a hell of a lot more. So plus, so far you went as Donovan Zaraku, Benjamin Morrison, Andrew Makuba, Felton, the wide receiver out of Maryland, and Quincy Riley. Who is your last Buccaneer getting welcomed to the 813 in the 7th round come Saturday?
Yeah, so the 7th round, I'm going to go linebacker, and this guy I think could be a potential steal. He's coming off a knee injury from 2024, and that is Nick Martin out of Oklahoma State. I just feel like the value and what he could bring, again, smaller linebacker, but super athletic, physical, has the ability to get sacks. I just feel like he could be a guy where they can take their time with him, because it looks like Servasi and Levante are going to be your starters. They have Anthony Walker they brought in to be that veteran 3rd linebacker. So you have Nick Martin come in and be a demon on special teams and provide, certain packages that he could just get after the quarterback.
Yeah, my apologies. I forgot to mention, but I'm taking Nickelback Justin Wally with my 5th pick. For those curious, didn't seem like it sniffed too much attention, but I'm going to be a little different. Quincy Riley was the mainstay between Zach and Plus. Nick Nash was a nice nab from J-Lo, but I'm going to go outside the box a little bit. He's battle tested, played Big Ten football. They always have great wide receivers in the Big Ten, and he's projected to be a nice nickel in the NFL. So, and I think last time we took a defensive back out of Minnesota, it worked out pretty damn good. So we'll see what happens with that. I would not mind Quincy Riley at all either, but I like to say different names sometimes just to get ideas flowing. And I'm not gonna look back and oh my god, I missed this pick, but I'd rather have enjoyment, conversation, and betterment of the pod. So Martin, the linebacker for special teams plus, is going with to close out his draft. Zach, round 7, pick 6.
Well, just to not go all defensive, and somebody that seems to consistently be there in the 7th is Jimmy Horn Jr. out of Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Get another guy in the wide receiver room. Hopefully some competition will spark something in Jarrett and Palmer so they don't lose, their play to not lose their spot. Just get somebody else in the room to kind of round it out there for the offense.
I like that pick a lot, and if you don't have a wide receiver by that time, I think it's very realistic. And I love our top 3. You got Shep at 4, and then you could use some battle-tested younger guys in the back end, right? You're going to have Ryan Millers of the world battling it out with Cam Johnsons of the world, a couple other cats. I think Trey Palmer's probably on the outside looking in for his sake, unfortunately. So I think a Horn Jr. would be really nice value there. J-Lo, are you going another wide receiver after Nick Nash, or are you shaking up the table a little bit?
I'm actually going to go back to defense, and I'm going to go with corner from USC. I believe it's Jalen Smith, if I'm not mistaken. Jalen Smith, he's 5'10". He would be the nickel, competing for a nickel corner spot. I like that. More competition brings the best out of everybody. Christian Izzy was undrafted, and he became a starter immediately at the nickel his rookie year. So I think that would be a good little battle tested. And I would trust in Bulls to get Jalen Smith ready for competition. If not, special teams.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. And I don't have a linebacker taken yet. And again, kind of funny because I once had Jihad as my first round pick. But to me, if they wait this long, they might not take one at all, right? Because not saying you can't find one this late, but at this point, they probably would figure, hey, we got Dennis, we got Levante, we brought in Anthony Walker. They still have Deion Jones, and then they could also bring in some undrafted guys in the mix. So not ruling it out completely, but just saying it would not be a guarantee to me if they didn't take one at this point to take one necessarily. But with that being said, I am going to take one. And for that reasoning is for everything that we've mentioned and more on this pod. Again, I am saying, though, it wouldn't surprise me if they waited this long to just punt on it completely. But I'm not going to do that. I was thinking about doubling down on cornerback because I could very much see that in this draft. I could see them taking 2 corners for sure. But I'm going a little bit of a I don't know. I was going to go linebacker, but now I'm having cold feet by something I just read online as well. But you know what? I'm going to think outside the box here. Frick it, why not? This is the Buccaneers where crazy things come to life. Not really, but I'm going to go with Colin Oliver from Oklahoma State, and he could play versatile linebacker. He could be an edge rusher. He was 3-time second-team All-Big 12. He was Big 12 Defensive Freshman in the year in 2021. We've seen the Bucs kind of double up on, D lineman. It'll be interesting to see because he could be a linebacker or D lineman as well. I've seen him build as both of those things. So where he would fit in, but I just think he's a specimen who could be used by this Buccaneers team. So before we get to wrapping up, final words, draft thoughts, and so much more, just going to go through our 1 through 6 round 7 mock drafts for the Bucs. Once again, Plus leads the way with Donovan Ezeraku, Benjamin Morrison, Andrew Makuba, Mr. Felton, the wide receiver out of Maryland, Quincy Riley, and the special team hopeful Martin, the linebacker. Zach Johnson goes easy as well, round 1. Norman a lot, round 2. Kobe Bryant, 3. Bassa, 4. Quincy Riley, 5. And Horn Jr., round 7, pick 6. J-Lo goes easy as well, making it 3 for 3. Usually a good thing. Darius Alexander, Noah Williams, the linebacker. I didn't write it down, J-Lo. That's the one I didn't hear with your 4th round pick.
Oh, the Mondin from Georgia.
There you go, the Georgia linebacker Mondin.
Yeah.
And I like that pick, especially if the first 3 rounds go edge and other D lineman, cornerback. I very much so think linebacker could be there. Then you went Nick Nash and Mr. Smith, Jalen Smith to end it. And I went with Hairston, Evan Winters guy. And then I went with Landon Jackson, Alec Aomaner, CJ West, Justin Wale, and Colin Oliver to round things out. What's beautiful with this is nobody truly knows. Nobody really knows what the hell's going to happen. We all have great hunches and ideas, and Donovan Easy Ezeraku is probably the most likely pick based on rumors and shit. Jihad Campbell is right up there, but now injuries and whatnot. So, Plus, take it away. What are your expectations for tomorrow?
Yeah, I would just say, try to relax and enjoy it. It's going to be a lot of fun just, seeing how it shapes up, because I think you'll see a couple of surprises. You'll see a couple of trades here and there. Obviously, who's going to be trading up for quarterbacks? Where do the quarterbacks end up falling to? And then also like certain players that we expect to go first round could easily go into the second round, maybe third round. And it's going to be
Dean. Remember Nakobe Dean? He had
right. Yeah, like these guys, they fall. Like we'll see guys that we thought were gonna be in day 2, they're all the way in the round 6. It happens because we don't have all the information at hand. So really, it's just gonna be a preference draft, and you hope the Buccaneers just take what's there, make the most of it, and hopefully can maneuver their way to get guys that they really want. And build this team. But yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Like I said earlier in the show, Real Bucs Talk will be live tomorrow night at 8 p.m. We'll be live Friday night as well, 7 p.m. So we'll have all the links and stuff ready to go tomorrow. We'll be sharing those. Have a lot of great guests coming on, so we're really excited about that. And then Saturday, I'll be on. If you guys know the Loose Cannons, I'll be on there Saturday, covering with them as far as day 3. So that should be pretty wild. I will just say that. But yeah, looking forward to it. And I appreciate the time here, guys. It's a lot of fun talking with you all.
Yes, sir. Plus, and let me know. I think, are you still penciling me in for Friday right now?
Yeah, I think, you can come on anytime Friday. Friday's going to be pretty much our relaxed show. It's not going to be anything, we're going to be very casual with both days, tomorrow and Friday. So
I'm gonna come in like stone cold, couple beer. What? Yeah, what? No, I'm kidding. I'm gonna be ready to rock and roll. But that's awesome. Always a great time at Real Bucs Talk. So I will definitely have you guys on a TV tomorrow. That's for dang sure. And then day 3 will be fun. I'm sure. Loose Cannons, good guys, great guys. They always do their draft-a-thon. And that's actually how I met Zach, was from donating to their draft-a-thon. I was able to go to the Arians Family Foundation. Sadly, was the only one without a +1, but that's a whole different story on that, I guess. Maybe Tampa Tones ain't loved by all, but nonetheless, that'll be a fun day 3 for you, Mr. Pless. And I know Port Richie Lou just tweeted this. He's correcting it. He said he will come correct next time. So he tweeted into the show he was looking forward to Dr. Pless. I said, hold on. Formally, I said he's the artist formerly known as Doctor. He said, I will come correct next time. So thank you, Port Richie Lou, for the kind words. J-Lo, I know you got a run, birthday boy. Take it away. Final words for the show, brother.
First and foremost, thank you for having me on. Like I said, I know I said may not make it, but I made it happen. Plus, you're the man. Appreciate
you probably pissed somebody off for coming.
Zach, I'm happy to celebrate my birthday, chopping up with you as well.
Appreciate
it. I said it's a great day, 35 big ones. Blessed to be alive and keep it moving. And can't wait for the draft, man. It's going to be a fun time. I can't wait. I'll be here at home trying to have my heart pop out of my chest with the hockey game being on before the draft. We'll see what happens there. And I'm on my way to go have a few drinks with some other people. So catch you guys later, man. Go Bucs.
Are you meeting up with Wade?
No, not Wade. It's a buddy of mine from work. I met with him at Ritz on the River. Have a little good time. Nothing too crazy. Well, we'll see. But
Yeah, hey,
but I gotta play it safe, man. I'm there for a good time, not a long time.
yeah, I better not
Thank
see you on the next Pinellas County Cops episode out there. That's for sure. Keep your hands where we can see 'em.
Hey.
Oh,
No,
geez, we're getting rated R now. Hey, have a
Yeah,
blessed
everybody.
one,
Bye-bye.
J-Lo. We'll talk to you tomorrow for the draft, brother. Bucks by 30, our great co-host tonight. Thanks for taking over, Zach, and my apologies for being late again. Take us home with your last words and excitement for the draft and where people could follow you and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, like Bless said, don't blow a gasket tomorrow. Enjoy it. It's a good time. Trust the process. Trust Jason and his team. They do a great job. I mean, the record speaks for itself, right? You saw I think everybody saw the image on Twitter about how many snaps their draft picks have played over the last 10 years. I think they deserve our trust, right? The Cansey pick. I don't know if you guys remember Twitter after the Cansey pick. And
everyone was like, yeah.
Yeah, and look at it now. So just because the name that's called is not the name you like doesn't mean that player won't be impactful. So just enjoy it and wait for somebody to do something really stupid in the first round, right? Like I have a feeling Denver's moving up because I think they're going to try to compete with the Raiders for a running back. So watch for that. Somebody might get a haul. Jacksonville, unfortunately, might get a haul. But I am excited. I'm actually flying out to Ray J in the morning.
Wow.
I will be at the draft party. It'll be my first time doing it in Tampa, so I'm pretty excited about that. So
that's cool.
Yeah, I'm real excited about it. Thanks. And at Bucs by 30 on all socials. So if you want to see pictures of my basement and hear me say stupid things, give me a follow.
Well, I don't know about the stupid things, but the basement, that's for sure. We'll go with that one. The basement, I like that one better. But for those of you like Zach going to the draft party tomorrow, first and foremost, have fun. Secondly, you're going to be hanging out with Bucky Irving, Servace Dennis, Tyke Smith, Kayvon Merriweather, CJ Brewer, Raekwon O'Neal, Yaya Diaby, Jose Ramirez, Marquis Swats, Co Keefe, Devin Culp, Rakim Jarrett, Dexter Jackson, Martin Gramatica, and Jimmy Giles. So have a hell of a time, Zach, and whoever else. That sounds like a fun, dangerous little draft party. Let's hope the Bucs stay in the first round for that sake. The draft parties always seem to get a little dampened when you don't make a first round pick. So for Zach and Co.'s sakes, I think we'll draft round one. We might trade back, but I think we'll stick in round one regardless. But my final word before we get to Plus's closeout, watch Real Bucs Talk tomorrow. Zach, you have a hell of a time tomorrow, brother. And I'm going to be tuned into Bucs by 30 social medias to keep up with the Ray J party. Plus, I'll have you on one of the TVs. And then rest in peace, Mongo McMichael. Just terrible, terrible loss for the Chicagoland area. Plus, take it home, brother. Final word.
Yeah, I mean, go Bucs, man. It's an exciting time. I think we have to be just looking forward to what this team has been able to accomplish, but also like what they're putting together this offseason. It's been really, clean, it's typical offseason for the Buccaneers. They go out and they get guys that make a lot of sense. And I think that will continue tomorrow. And I think, what Zach said, you just got to, take a breath. If it's not the guy that you thought, don't panic, watch the tape the next day on Real Bucs Talk and you'll get a little bit better feeling about the players. So remember, it's all about what they want from this guy and how they're going to utilize him the best way. So yeah, just enjoy it. I think that's what we have to do. Tomorrow, that's what I'm going to be watching, draft day, because I watch it every year before the draft. And then I'll just be chilling and getting ready for our live streams. I wish I could be at the stadium. I'd probably be there if I wasn't doing live streams, but Zach, that should be a lot of fun. So enjoy it. Keep a lookout for my friend Jay. He'll probably be there. The big guy. You'll probably see him. So it should be a lot of fun.
He might have a jersey that says "My balls itch" or something like that.
Yeah.
So be on the lookout for Big J. He's one of a kind. He is the man, as is Zach. So if you guys run into Zach tomorrow, if you're going to the party, be sure to say what's up. I promise he is a great guy. Other than that, don't stress, ladies and gentlemen. Don't panic. whatever. You know, I'm the opposite. The Bucs take a guy, I'm ready to run through a wall for that damn guy. Whatever the case might be. I remember when we took Josh Freeman, for better or for worse. I was like, damn it, let's go, Josh. And sadly, we saw how that turned out. But nonetheless, don't freak out on draft night. Watch a film on Real Bucs Talk on Friday. Come join the Buccaneers or Loose Cannons and Plus Saturday. Hang out, have a good time. It should be stress-free stuff. So remember, tomorrow, go to Bucs By 30 on Twitter. Keep up with the draft party live. Zach will have great info coming out of his Twitter. And then Plus will be on Real Bucs Talk tomorrow night and Friday night. And I'll be joining Friday for the NFL draft. So looking forward to that very much, gentlemen. You guys are both awesome. Thank you guys so much for your time tonight. And for all the chatters, I mean, can't even name everyone, but Sean, Josh, Supply and Demand, Patriots Loco, Chico, Olivia, Richard, everybody, Christopher Cole, you know, everybody who was able to join tonight, and the, you know, other people as well. Just awesome stuff. We thank you guys. Once again, hit the subscribe button, turn that like button. You got Automatica there. Yeah, Grammatica's going to be there. And with that, fire the damn cannons. Go Bucs, go Bucs, go Bucs. Until next time. The pick is in. Thank you, everybody. God bless. Have a safe night. Zach, have safe travels. Plus, we'll see you on the big screen tomorrow, brother. Do it big.
Sounds good, man.
Thanks, fellas.
Game on Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by Lee Goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little cleared. But we're joined by Pat
It looks like
Donovan.
Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little.
No, my camera's broke.